Hello, this is Amma Duncan. I am founder of the Fabulous Woman Network and Fab Hub Ashanti. I hope all is well with you wherever you are on earth right now. As I record this, I'm in Kumasi, where I live, and our city, among a few other cities in Ghana, have been under a lockdown for the past 2 days. So it's been interesting. Actually, I have been home for the past 2 or so weeks, or a little over 2 weeks, because by the time I was in training, I was facilitating a leadership training for women in another city when our president advised that we cancel workshops or we stop workshops, church services, congregations, and all that. So the following day, I came home, and I've been home for the past 2 weeks, working from home, doing the best I can. And it's been an interesting season, this COVID-19 season for me. But even in spite of that, I've realized a few wonderful opportunities that, for instance, engaging a lot in my Facebook community, which is called the Fabulous Woman Community. I had always wanted to do more in it, and it had always been difficult because I was always doing something else. But now I have a lot of time. We've been doing so many wonderful things, having different speakers teaching us different things. This week, we're actually focusing on business. So we have speakers from around the world speaking to us on business and giving us business advice. So I guess we are making nice lemonade from this whole lemon. And I mean, on the personal front as well, I'm really doing quite a lot of nice things. The area I need to do more, so for personal and social, I'm doing quite well, but I need to do more in terms of business, in terms of revenue, in terms of profits, because at the end of the day, listen, I still have bills to pay, and I know it's quite a confusing period. We don't know next what's going to happen, even for food and all. After what you have gets finished, nobody really knows. But it's also been an interesting time where a lot of us are getting really closer to God, talking to Him, listening to Him, and all. So it's been an interesting situation, and we all pray that we'll find a way out soon, and life will return to hopefully even better than life as we knew it before. But today I bring to you our book club review for Think and Grow Rich. Now, this is a book we've reviewed before by Napoleon Hill. I loved reviewing this book. But why did I bring it again? So I was on a flight going to Singapore about 2 months ago, and as I was going, I just started remembering how I had really wanted to see these two particular places, Singapore and Bali. And it was like suddenly I just had this, this wake up thing that, oh my God, I'm actually going to Singapore and Bali. These are two places I had strongly desired to go and had wished for it, like desired really strongly to see with my own eyes. Like I used to sit on Instagram and I would just be looking at pictures of Bali, especially, and to think that I was actually doing it. So as I was thinking about it, the book Think and Grow Rich came to mind again. It's like, I think it's true what they say, that if you want something, thinking about it, the whole thing that the book talks about, thinking about it, which is one of the main things really, and having a definiteness of purpose and desire and all that. I'm like, oh my God, that must be true. And even before then, my husband and I had been to visit one of our mentors, and he advised us on the people to follow or people to listen to. And one of them was Bob Proctor. So I had been following him, I had been listening to his YouTube videos, and he also kept talking about this book and how he met somebody, and the person talked to him, or I think gave him the book, and he had been reading it for over 40 years. And that's like how I have been reading the Bible every day, and I want to like just read the Bible for a long time. And he has been reading this. So I was like, but this book, I have read it before. It's really great. But I realized that maybe just reading it once is not enough. So, based on what Proctor's advice, and then also based on that insight or feeling or something I had while on that journey, I thought, you know what, let's review this book again. And that's why I decided to post this book again, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, because I've already reviewed this and given maybe 5 or so lessons that I had from it, for this particular review, I don't really want us to talk plenty about the lessons. It's a great book. You can get a copy. If you don't know where to get one, just reach out to me. I will hook you up with Mandate Books, my suppliers. Before I start though, so this book review started maybe 2 years ago or so years ago, because I really wanted to encourage reading. I love reading. I know it's always not easy to find time to read, but reading is so big. It opens your mind, it gives you a lot of information that hitherto you didn't know, and it takes you places you haven't even been before, which is like the most beautiful part of reading. Like, you get to see different places and imagine, and it's a whole nice world. So what I intend to do for this particular book review, that I'm hoping won't go beyond 15 minutes, is I want to read one story from the book. The title is 3 Feet from Gold. You may have heard it before, and I just want to briefly talk about it. It's on page 5 of Think and Grow Rich. So, one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Speaking of quitting, so I'm actually hiding in my kids' room right now. I won't say hiding. I am in my kids' room doing this video, and I've told them not to disturb. Now, I did the recording. By the time I was almost ready to sign off, somebody opened the door and then just disrupted everything. So I'm having to start again, right? So, yay, I didn't give up. So, anyway, every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. R.W. Darby, who later became one of the most successful insurance salesmen in the country, tells the story of his uncle who was caught by the gold fever in the gold rush days and went west to dig and grow rich. He had never heard the saying that more gold has been mined from the brains of men than has ever been taken from the earth. He staked a claim and went to work with pick and shovel. The going was hard, but his lust for gold was definite. After weeks of labor, he was rewarded by the discovery of the shining ore. He needed machinery to bring the ore to the surface. Quietly, he covered up the mine, retraced his footsteps to his home in Williamsburg, Maryland, and told his relatives and a few neighbors of the strike. They got together money for the needed machinery and had it shipped. The uncle and Darby went back to work the mine. The first car of ore was mined and shipped to a smelter. The returns proved they had one of the richest mines in Colorado. A few more cars of the ore would clear the debts. Then would come the big killing in profits. Down went the drills, up went the hopes of Darby and Uncle. Then something happened. The vein of gold ore disappeared. They had come to the end of the rainbow, and the pot of gold was no longer there. They drilled on desperately, trying to pick up the vein again, all to no avail. Finally, they decided to quit. They sold the machinery to a junk man for a few $100s and took the train back home. Some junk men are dumb, but not this one. He called in a mining engineer to look at the mine and do a little calculating. The engineer advised that the project had failed because the owners were not familiar with the fault lines. His calculations showed that the vein would be found just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped drilling. That is exactly where it was found. From just 3 feet. I hope you get the story. So this person, Darby, invests so much, he and his uncle invest so much money into mining only to get to a point where they had a setback and they gave up. But what did the junk man do? The one who bought the items after these people had given up, bought the machinery for, peanuts really. He decided to hire an expert, an engineer, to show them or to advise on what to do. And this expert gave them great advice, which in the end made them millionaires. Now, I kept thinking about this story as I was trying to review, trying to decide what to talk about in terms of this review. I was like, Amma, but this is exactly what you need. I am currently, like most of you, in a situation where I've invested so much money in Fab Hub Ashanti, so much money. Like for me, it's so much money, right? And right now, it's closed. We can't use it for anything. Whatever we had that we could even do, we can't do anything there. I have products sitting in that I can't even sell. As I said in the beginning, the training I was facilitating got cancelled. Like halfway through it, we had to come home. I've not been paid for a few jobs I've done due to no fault of theirs. We have the COVID situation, which is COVID-19, which is happening all over the world. There are things I have announced that we've been planning for the rest of the year that as we sit here, we don't know. But am I going to say, oh my goodness, this problem is worldwide and we don't even know what's going to happen? And the world is in confusion right now. So let me just, as someone will say, forget it. Let me just forget it. Or I can say, okay, this is the situation. Let's re-strategize. And I kept thinking, another thought just came. You know how for a long time I've been saying, oh God, I need a break. I'm tired. I need to think. There's so much I want to do and I can't do it. I really want to do X, Y, Z. And now I finally have the time to do that. And instead, I'm giving up. There was a day I slept for 11 hours. The energy to even get up and do something was not happening. Even to do this video, the motivation was so low. I was like, no, I am allowing this situation that is happening to bring down my spirit to the point where I'm not doing anything, when I can actually take advantage of this and re-strategize. I don't believe that this is the time to retreat and forget it. This is the time to retreat and re-strategize, at least personally for me. And for a lot of other businesses, this is the time to really plan and do other things, administrative things that you've been putting on hold forever. Documents you need to read, books you need to read, people you need to speak to, stuff you need to do, consultations you need to make. This is the time. We cannot give up. We simply cannot give up because we've invested so much and then COVID-19 has come up on us and we don't know what to do. So really, my message from this book is simple, and it's not even about riches or anything. It's just, for me, I feel that we shouldn't give up. What is it that you need to do? What can you do even in this time? There must be something that you can do. Socially, for me, like I may have said already, in our Facebook group, the Fabulous Man Community, we are doing so much. We are engaging. We had Healthy Lifestyle Week. We had Parenting Week last week. And this week, we are having Business Week. We are having all these wonderful speakers from around the world speaking to us in the group via, we are doing it via Facebook Live. And it's working. We are learning so much and we are engaging, trying to even also forget the situation so that we can focus on something more positive. And I feel that is encouraging, and we must do same even within our businesses. We must not give up because the going is tough. Look, we still have bills to pay. We have staff to pay. I have a small team, and yes, I have to pay them. I have to pay for security of the place. I have to pay for XYZ. I have to buy food for the house. I have to buy credits for phone, and I have to buy data. Everybody has something they need to pay for, and we cannot give up. We cannot give up. even in this situation, the fact that you are home does not mean life is over. So this is the encouragement I got from this book, that I cannot give up just because the going has gotten tough. This is the time to re-strategize. In this case, this man went to speak to a consultant, an engineer. What do you also need to do? Do you need to speak to a consultant who advise you, okay, I believe after COVID-19, this is what will happen, this is what you need to do? Or is this the time to maybe take an online class that you really need to get, or a qualification you really need to get? What is it? This is the time to motivate ourselves to get up and do something. This is happening to everyone, not just you and I. So we need to make the most of it. We cannot just let the situation flatten us, kwata kwata, as we say in Ghana. We have to keep moving. We have to do something. Make the most of it. Yes, let's absolutely pray, and let's act as well, because faith without action is really dead. So that's my short message from this book. That's a lesson from this book, Think and Grow Rich. If you don't have a copy, I can connect you with Mandate Book. You can look out for them on Instagram and I believe Facebook. They supply me with all my books. Samuel is just amazing. And you can get yourself a copy. I'm sure there are delivery people that can still get it to you, or you can get it from Amazon. If you haven't read it, this book is really big. We should read it over and over again, like Bob Proctor did. So before I sign off, I just want to say thank you very much once again. My name is Ama Duncan. I'm founder of the Fabulous Woman Network and Fab Hub Ashanti. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching this on Facebook, then you're already in our group. Thank you. And I do look forward to engaging with you more. If you are not in our group, please, our group is for women only. It's called the Fabulous Woman Community. The Fabulous Woman Community on Facebook. It will be a pleasure to engage with you there. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.